The old man spoke slowly, like a man who had earned every word. I was like you once. I thought silence was dignity. I thought providing was loving. I thought if I kept my pain inside, I was protecting everyone around me. Femi listened, really listened, the way he had listened to Lizzie on their very first date, except this time, the words were landing somewhere deep, somewhere he had kept locked for a very long time. My wife left me too. Not to another man, not because of violence. She left because she said living with me was like living in an empty house with the lights on. Everything looked fine from the outside, but inside, nothing warm. Silence is not strength, my son. Silence can be the loudest form of abandonment. Your father was loud and damaging, but you chose the opposite extreme, and the opposite extreme carries its own damage. Love is not the absence of your father's behavior. Love is presence, real presence, words, vulnerability, letting someone in, even when it terrifies you. Femi said nothing, but this time the silence was different. This time it was not a wall. It was a man finally hearing something he had spent 30 years running from. Lizzie was not celebrating. There was no victory in filing those papers, only exhaustion and grief. Grief for a love that should have been enough and wasn't. And Femi, for the first time, was not being still because he was strong. He was being still because he was finally, painfully, beginning to understand the difference between silence as protection and silence as prison. This is not a story about a bad man. This is a story about a wounded boy who grew into a man who never learned to bleed out loud. And the woman who loved him and could not survive the silence. What happens next? That is not for me to say. Some stories do not end. They simply pause and wait for the people inside them to choose.